All right, got folks coming in. I got Matt and Organic and Morris and Nate and Joe joining. Happy Monday, everybody. If you celebrated American Thanksgiving, I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. If you're like, hey, I don't even know what American Thanksgiving is, also totally all good. All right, so today, I don't know if any of you guys were on the call last week. We focused a lot on client onboarding. So we're talking in this call, really focused on just all things high level. So really on the tech side, the onboarding side, the fulfillment side, really getting your clients set up for success, because high level is such a powerful tool that you can really create a ton of value in a lot of different ways. So we're gonna, as folks just kind of keep joining here, we're gonna give a couple more minutes to just let folks join so we can all kind of start together. But we're gonna be really focused on just some automation side of things, like some kind of just very sticky automations that HighLevel utilizes to provide value to clients. So that is what we're going to be focused on today. Let's see who else we got today. We got KCP Gamer, we got Prashant. I'm going to have trouble pronouncing that one. It looks like Oliver, but it's I can't do it. We got Prez and Ramesh and George. We got Muhammad. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. All right, so we got a good chunk of folks in here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We are recording, and so this recording will also be available after the fact. But I'm gonna jump in. Connor, before I jump in, anything that you want to say or start off the call with?
Yeah. Again, kind of similar to last time, guys. Graham's gonna run through this. Those of you that know Graham and were here last time, he is going to be going into the automations this time. Last time we went over the client onboarding. So if you didn't see the last Zoom, if you weren't here, if you didn't get a chance to see that, it's on my YouTube. So you can go check that out. Same thing for this one. It's going to be posted on my YouTube again. So if you don't get a chance to stick around for the whole meeting, or if you miss anything, or if you didn't get a chance to take notes, whatever it may be, everything is going to be on my YouTube.
Sorry, Connor. That was my fault. I accidentally muted you.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. Was that whole thing was muted?
No. So most of it was unmuted. And so you're just kind of walking through the call and where to access the previous call on your YouTube channel. Okay. I think that's where we lost you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. The previous call that we went over client onboarding, that is on my YouTube for anyone that didn't hear that. And this next call that we're having here, if you don't get a chance to stick around for the entire thing, if you didn't get a chance to take notes, whatever it may be, that's also going to be on my YouTube as well. And I'm sure you all know, I've been announcing it. I made the video. Anyone that's thinking about getting started, they're now extended the Black Friday deal. So if you missed out on the Black Friday deal,
yep,
GoHighlevel is doing Cyber Monday, as I'm sure HL Pro Tools is as well. Graham, if you want to drop that link at any point in here,
sure,
that'd be cool. But yeah, GoHighlevel is doing extending the deals into Cyber Monday. So if you missed out on that, we're still doing them. So don't miss out on those. And if you have any questions, you can shoot me a message on Discord. But yeah, let's jump in.
Cool, awesome. So what we're talking about today is we're talking about automation. So on the left-hand side of your HighLevel, you should have a tab called automations. So we're going to just do kind of like a quick understanding of what automations are. I like to think of automations as kind of like a big if-then statement. So if-then statement says, like, if this happens, then this happens. So if I leave a car parked behind my other car and I back out of the driveway, then I will hit my other car, right? So I have to move my other car first. So that's an if-then statement. That is how automations in HighLevel work. So it's really powerful. You could say, if someone submits a form on my client's website, then I want you to text them. I want you to email them. I want you to add them as an opportunity in the system so I can track revenue. I want you to call them. You could do all of these then statements. So if somebody fills out the form, if somebody fills out the chat widget on my HighLevel website, then I want you to do I want to email them. I want to text them. I want to call them, whatever it is. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of the most important automations that you can use with HighLevel. And we're going to really focus in on the things that we see most businesses use. And that doesn't matter whether it's a digital business, like you're helping out, somebody who runs a digital business, like online coaching or something like that, or whether you're helping out a brick and mortar business. So, a chiropractor or a plumber or an HVAC company or, whatever it is, just a storefront. And so you can see here, what's really nice is in the automation section. So I'll go back. So in automations, you'll kind of see your workflow list. You'll see it's made up of folders, and then under each folder is specific workflows. Now, this is a location that already has workflows built into it. If you are just creating from scratch, you can come up here to the Create Workflow button, and you can see you can start from scratch. So that means like literally you can do you build whatever you want, or I would ignore this import from campaign because that is an old function of HighLevel that they haven't really gotten rid of. So if you've been with HighLevel for more than 3 years, you can ask me questions about this. If you have not been with HighLevel for more, if you're 2 years or newer, then this will not be important to you. So don't feel like you need to waste time there. And then HighLevel has what they call all these recipes. These are pre-made workflows that accomplish a goal. And so, for example, if we look at like this one, recipe, appointment confirmation, and reminder. This is saying when somebody books an appointment, we're going to email them a confirmation, and then we're going to remind them about their upcoming appointment. So instead of you having to go build that, it already exists inside of HighLevel. That's right. I've never figured out how to remove drawing. But so if anybody wants to draw, feel free. You just got to give me the rights to sell your masterpiece afterwards. So let's try this one. I'm just going to click select. HighLevel is going to go ahead and create that recipe for me. And we're just going to walk through this to understand workflows in general. And so this workflow says so it's using the workflow appointment status. And if we look at what appointment status means, it says it runs on all appointment status updates. So again, this is attempting to create a workflow that confirms an appointment and reminds the contact of their appointment. So can anybody see that being useful for the clients that you want to serve? Like, does a plumber have appointments? Does a chiropractor have appointments? Are there stores that are appointments only, sales appointments, all of that kind of stuff. So if you're thinking, so the best way to learn this is to think through it through the lens of your customer or the customer that you want to serve. So if you don't have clients yet, or you're just starting to get clients, think through maybe the business niche that you want to serve or the type of leads that you're going to be bringing in for your clients and say, oh, well, what would I do to, when somebody books an appointment, what would I want to do? And so up here in this gray box is the appointment, or is the trigger. And so every workflow starts from a trigger. This is the if of the if-then statement. So it says like, if this happens, we gave the example earlier, if a form is filled out on the website, then do all of these things. This is saying if somebody books an appointment on their calendar, then do these things. And so what it's saying right now is if somebody books an appointment, then send an email. So it's going to send an email saying, hey, contact first name. It's going to fill in their first name. Your appointment has been confirmed for, and then it's going to fill out their appointment details. Let us know if you have any questions. Here's the Zoom meeting ID, or you can change it to whatever you want. And then it's got the cancel and reschedule. So upon booking the appointment, they're going to immediately get a confirmation. It helps no-show rates, making sure you confirm appointments. So this was super important. And then it's going to wait 24 hours before the appointment, send a 24-hour reminder. Hey, we've got plans in 24 hours. When it's time, please use this meeting ID 1 hour before the appointment. So it's going to wait again. So I'm just walking you guys through this. This is already pre-built by HighLevel, right? So you can just click it, load it in, turn it on. I'm just walking you through how it works. Your meeting's in 1 hour. Maybe we text them, right? Say, hey, your meeting's in 1 hour. Looking forward to seeing you. Then maybe 5 minutes before. So that is how HighLevel has set up that workflow. And what's so nice is you don't actually have to know how to do it all. It is literally just there. We see recipe dash appointment confirmation plus reminder. So that is one really, really important workflow. We're going to go through a couple. And I'm going to do one that is specifically, I don't think HighLevel has a, I want to show you guys how to build one. I don't think HighLevel has a recipe for it. So we'll click the start from scratch. So Connor, real quick, you, one of the methods I think you had mentioned that you have folks having a lot of success with and that you teach is Facebook ads, right? And bringing in leads through Facebook ads. Is that right?
Yeah, so I do touch on Facebook ads a little bit. The main kind of way that I have people acquire new customers is through Facebook groups, as well as just doing cold outreach. But I do have a video specifically. I think I know what you're probably going to go over, but yes, Facebook ads is a good portion of the course.
Cool. So that's great. So we do that as well for our agency. We run Facebook ads. It's a great way to go, and it's one of the many ways to go. Not only to acquire new customers for yourself, but also to fulfill for clients. Right? A lot of clients want new leads. They want fresh leads coming into their business, and so you might run a Facebook ad for them. Really cool because HighLevel integrates with Facebook. And so what does that allow you to do? If we're thinking again, and this is what I love with workflows, is it's similar to like, if you can lay it out, if this happens, then I want these things to happen, you can build a workflow. So some folks, they feel like, oh, well, it's too technical for me. But really, if you can say like, well, when they fill out a form on the website, what would I like to happen? What do I want to happen when I approach a business and fill out a form on their website? Because I tell you, I fill out forms on websites all the time and businesses don't get back to me. Imagine even just that value proposition to say like, hey, what if every time somebody filled out a form on your website, the system immediately called, texted, and emailed them? Like, would you want that? Most businesses are like, yes, I want that. I'm overwhelmed. I can't respond to all the people. If you could automate it for me, that'd be incredible. So that's, we're going to build one of those as well. So let's focus on that one. So we're going to call it form submission on website. So let's say you have a client, and most websites, they need some way to capture the lead's information, right? When you go to a website, you fill in something to get to the product. You opt in, or you fill out your information to purchase, or something along those lines. And so we look here, you have a lot of triggers inside of automation. So any of these things can start a workflow. We're going to go down to form submitted. And what that says is when a form is submitted, so that's what's going to start the automation. And we've got a bunch of different ones in here. I'm just going to do website feedback request for simplicity here. So I'm going to say, which form do I want to kick this off? And then what do I want to happen? And we'll just do something. We'll just do something simple. So I'm saying when the form is submitted on the website, what do I want to do? Well, I probably want to acknowledge that we got their submission, right? And so one of the things that I'm going to do there is I am going to say, I'm going to send an email. So we're going to send from Graham Test. You can put your own name in there, or the business owner's name, right? That's usually what you would do, is the business owner's name. And then you'd be able to put in, thanks for your submission, or whatever language you want. And then here you can bring in the contact's name. They just gave you their name. So, hey, contact first name. And Connor, if you want custom values, custom fields, those are really powerful things about HighLevel that are good for folks to understand. So we could go over those one of these weeks coming up here as well. So, hey, contact name, thanks for your submission. Next steps is to grab a time to visit our business, book a time here. And now you can see, like, we're immediately contacting them after they submit. We're telling them, hey, book an appointment. And then just like the last workflow that we saw, you can then remind them about the appointment. So you can start to see how much of somebody's business you could potentially automate, right? So book a time here, calendar.com, or whatever the link is there. So you can send an email, you can send a text, got your submission, have time to talk now, right? So you can send any of this stuff through workflow. So again, basically, if you can think it through. If you can write it down, hey, when this happens, I want all of these things to happen. You can do that. And so you're like, well, I want it to follow up with them for the first 7 days until they book an appointment. You can put in wait times. And so you say, I want to wait 1 day. And then I want to send another email and say, hey, what the heck? Why haven't you booked an appointment? No, you'd probably say something different than that. I'm definitely not a copywriter, so don't take any of my copy. It is guaranteed to perform poorly. So that's just a basic version of what you can do with the website, or sorry, with the automation builder here. And so that was one example of like, does everybody have a website? Do most businesses you work with have a website? Probably. If not, can you build one in HighLevel? Very easily. Put a form on there. When somebody submits the form, it automatically follows up with them. That's incredibly valuable. I always tell the story of like how I live in Denver. It snows here. I needed snow removal for our property. We were renting out our house. I called 7 snow removal places. Not a single one got back to me. I messaged into their, on their website. Nobody got back to me. Finally, 2 weeks later, one business got back to me and immediately got my credit card because I just needed somebody to be able to plow the driveway for our renters. And so that is the power of what you can do for a business. You can bring them significantly more revenue just by putting in some basic automations. So we've done form submission on website, appointment confirmation and reminder. One other one that I wanted to show today is the ability to use Facebook. So like Connor talked about, Facebook is a great way to generate leads, not only for your own business, but also for your clients. And so if you are running Facebook lead form ads, in other words, the ad is on Facebook, they click on it right there on Facebook, they fill out their information. You can actually directly get, you can directly fire automations off, right? So in Facebook, they'll put in their email, their phone number, etc., and you can now email them like we just did. And so I'm not going to fully build this one out to just not repeat it. So you can email them, you can send them an SMS, you can actually even send them a automated, actually, can you send, yeah, you can send them an automated Facebook message right back. So there's so much that you can do that automates it so that your clients, let's say, again, I always use the idea of a plumber, but it doesn't have to be a local business like a plumber. But in a plumber's case, what do they want to do? They want to go do their work. They want to do what they were trained for. They want to do what they're good at. If you can take some of this automation off their hands and just facilitate how things in their business works, they are going to pay you forever. They're never going to leave because you make their business run better. So those are some of the basic automations that we love to use. And that's the thing, is it's like, it can be 3-4 automations and you have a happy, excited client. It does not have to be this big, robust, crazy thing. So that is a couple of workflows that we kind of touched on here. I'm just going to take a quick look at the rest of HighLevel's recipes and let you know if there's any, yes, I do. I want to talk about missed call text back. This is one of the things that HighLevel really markets a lot as one of their best features. I think it's one of their best features. It's the idea of, if a lot of businesses, they don't have a receptionist. They don't have enough people power to answer incoming calls. And so for every missed call, if you could automate a text back that said, hey, I'm on the phone with another client, or hey, I'm busy in the store right now, or hey, it's outside of business hours, but I'd love to be able to help you via text. How can I help? Right? So if you had a way for that business to respond to every missed call with a text message, you have their phone number, they just called in. So that is what this recipe is. So we'll go ahead and select it. Missed call text back. HighLevel even builds in a slight delay, so it doesn't feel automated, even though it is automated. And then we're going to say, hey, saw we missed your call. How can we help? And then the location name. So Joe's Plumbing Shop, right? Incredibly, incredibly powerful. And what's even more powerful is that took me 1 click. 1 click to create, 1 click to publish, 1 click to save. So 3 clicks, and you literally have this automation set up for your clients. It's super, super, super simple. And then you can come in and you can adjust whatever you want to adjust. If you want to adjust the language, whatever it is, it's incredibly powerful to be able to create these workflows with one click. I'd be curious if you guys want to use the chat. We haven't been as involved in the chat today. I like to usually get involved in chat. Is there anything that you want to see me build out, or any questions that you have about automations of like, hey, can HighLevel do this? Or can HighLevel do that? Or
I'll take that one.
oh, Angel, you have a question? Nope. See you later. So what questions? Who's going to be? Well, I've got a couple questions already. So we have one question that says, are you guys on app or browser? I think that's a question about HighLevel. HighLevel is most functional in the browser. If you're building or fulfilling for a client, you can use the app mostly for replying and booking appointments. I've got another question here, and it says, how do we use these automations on sub-accounts? Great question. So right now, I'm in a sub-account. It's called Sticky SaaS 3.1. But if you can see, I'm in a demo account. So app.demoaccount.com. This is just a sandbox account. But you can scroll through here and go to any demo that you have. And so, or sorry, not any demo. I read the word demo. Any sub-account that you have. And you can see here, we've built a ton of sub-accounts, or a ton of automations. But all you have to do is come to the automations tab inside of whichever sub-account that it is, and you can click on create workflow and create any of those recipes, or start from scratch, like I said. Or the other way to do this is if you have a snapshot. So there's a lot of snapshots in the HighLevel world. Snapshot, it really just means, so you're going to hear this word a lot in the HighLevel ecosystem. So if you haven't been paying attention, this is a good thing to pay attention to. I know some of the technical stuff might not be the sexiest thing in the world. It is for me, but snapshots. What are snapshots? Snapshots are pre-built assets inside of a HighLevel sub-account. So like you could load in a snapshot and immediately have all of the automations. You could load in a snapshot and immediately have a bunch of websites. You could load in a snapshot and immediately have a bunch of funnels and calendars and have that all connected together. And so that's what you're seeing here is this is 8 folders that came from a snapshot that was loaded all in on September 1st, 2022. So this is an old one, but that is, that's what that is. And so next question is, can you use HighLevel to automate payment emails? So I'm not sure if I fully understand the question. So Liam, if you want to elaborate on that, are you saying to request payment or to send receipts? Both are potentially an option, but I would love to hear a little bit more about what you're looking to do there. Wotek, what you can tell me how you pronounce your name if I'm butchering it. You said, how do you assign it to a customer? I guess I'm not totally following the question, but each sub-account here should be a customer. So you should have a sub-account per customer. So Joe's Plumbing, Fred's Chiropractor, Lisa's Grocery Store, whatever it is, each one of them should have a sub-account. So you don't need to assign it to a customer. You just know if an automation is in that sub-account, then you would, that it would be working for all of their leads and all of their contacts that go through the workflow. So that's how you quote unquote assign it to a customer. We had a question. So in SaaS, we need to automate messages for the client. No, you don't have to. You can, but you absolutely don't have to. These are all things that add value. So whether you're charging for SaaS, whether you're charging $97 a month, $197, $297, $597. I mean, we see people charging as high as crazy amounts, but when you charge higher amounts, you want to bring higher value, right? So if you're like, yeah, I just want to charge $97 a month, give them a blank account, they figure it out. That is a different game that you're playing. Then I want to charge $4,000 a month and I'm going to build out everything for them. So those are just hypothetical price points, hypothetical situations. So none of the stuff that I'm teaching is a have to. This is, these are really easy ways to add value. So how can you add value with just a couple of clicks? Use those built-in automations from HighLevel. So Liam clarified the question, how would you send receipts? So the best way to ensure receipts get sent is actually in Stripe. So if you have a Stripe account connected or whatever payment provider that you're using, it has the ability to toggle on or off sending receipts. That is my recommendation there. The other way that you could do it, I will head down to back to that sticky SaaS sub account. And let's just take a look at settings inside of the invoices section. And so right here as well. So inside of invoices, and this might look different. I've got a customizer on HighLevel here. I've got this, I guess it's not going to show, but so the name might be different there. But you can turn on enable automatic sales receipts for payments. Then you can title it, receipt prefix, receipt start number, and then you can choose an email template that you create in the marketing section under email templates here. So that is how you can use the system natively. The other option is to use your payment provider to send receipts. Both can do that. Okay, so I had another question. Do these automations get added on to the customer's websites? It's a great question. So, for example, if we were to go to here, I have this up because Connor had asked me to drop a link. This is a snapshot that we use for basic client fulfillment. And so I will give an example, right? So let's say you wanted to purchase this, right? It's going to pull up an order form. And so I fill out that order form. I fill out the payment details. How do I know an automation runs? Well, in HighLevel, you're going to have to build that automation. HighLevel doesn't assume anything. It doesn't assume that, hey, when a form is submitted or a survey is submitted or an order form is submitted, that you want it to do certain things. And so you're either going to have to go find a recipe, a pre-built automation, or you're going to have to build an automation yourself. So I'll drop this link at the end of the call for you guys if you want a pre-built snapshot with all the automations built in. But so for example, if I was thinking about that website and I was thinking, well, what do I want to happen? I'm going to build that formula again, right? I'm going to say, well, what is the client doing? The client is purchasing on the website. Okay, what are they purchasing through? An order form. So order form submission is what I want. And then I'm going to select, well, what funnel are they purchasing in? What type of sale is it? Is it a regular sale? Is it an upsell? Is it a bump product? So I'm going to do all of those filters. So I'm just going to save it for now. And then what do I want to happen upon sale? Well, I want to email them my own version of a receipt. So I might be able to say your purchase receipt. So I go, hi, contact, first name. Congrats on your purchase of the sticky SaaS machine. Here's your receipt for your purchase, and put whatever information I want in there. So again, if you can follow that formula of what is the lead or customer doing to start the automation, and then what are all the things that you want to happen during that automation, that is going to let you then build it. So how do you connect it to a customer's website? You need to pull in some element from HighLevel, a lead form, a order form, a survey that needs to be on their website. So when that form is submitted, you can kick off an automation. So let's say, for example, you bring on a brand new client and they've got a WordPress site, right? So it's not part of HighLevel. You can take a HighLevel form and put it on the WordPress site so that when that form is submitted, like let's say it's a contact us form, right? Have any questions? Just contact us here. They fill out the HighLevel form, and because it's a HighLevel form, you can run an automation. We had another question. Will this call be somewhere like in Connor's course? And yes, it'll be on YouTube and Discord. Ooh, good question. If I have 25 clients, how do I manage everything? So that is a good question. Different people do it different ways. I think it really depends on your offer and what value you are providing to the client. So can you elaborate? Do you currently have 25 clients and you're struggling to manage everything? Or are you saying, hey, what's it going to be like when I get to 25 clients? How do I make sure that I can manage everything? So can you elaborate on that question? Yeah, the second one, awesome. So what most folks do as they start to bring on clients is they determine, hey, what am I doing to provide value, and then how do I systematize providing value, right? Because you can think about it, 25 clients, if you had to build the same automations for 25 clients, like that could take you more time than you really want to give. And so is there a way to say, well, what if I could build it once and then I could automatically load it in when they purchase, right? So there's a lot of, and that's getting a little further down the advanced route of using HighLevel. And so we can definitely do calls about like, hey, how do we manage that many clients? How do we do this kind of stuff? Because it's all doable, but it starts to say, well, how do I, instead of working harder, work smarter? And so one of those thoughts would be, well, I do the same thing for all 25 clients. What if I just had a set of automations and funnels that I could load in when they purchase? And so that's all doable within HighLevel. You can load in what I was just talking about, a snapshot, and defining what a snapshot is. You can build and or purchase a snapshot and then load that in every time. So every client gets the same things. You turn it on and they're good to go. So that it would be one of the ways that you can manage that. Another way, a lot of folks offload. One of the first things that they outsource is support. And so I'll have Connor, I think you might have a specific link for folks. And if we don't have it right now, we'll make sure that you do have it. So a lot of folks use services like HL Pro Tools, so hlprotools.com, but use Connor's link, and I think you get a better deal there. So it's like, oh, as you bring on clients and you need somebody to handle support as they have questions, things like that, most folks use tools like that. Next question is, can we get leads from GHL? GHL does not sell leads. So the answer to that is no. There are other companies and providers out there that do sell leads, but that's a different question. What value do we have to give for people who are selling HighLevel for 4K? So usually, I'll give an example. Usually, if you're trying to sell really, really high ticket, it usually means you're not going for as many clients and that you're very, very, very involved. And so most folks don't want to be that involved, right? I think HighLevel has so much value because you can run a SaaS on it where you're selling at a lower price point. Like most SaaS softwares, if you think of even, Netflix is SaaS, right? I don't know how much it costs anymore. $9 a month, $14 a month, somewhere around there, right? It's very low price point. But also very low involvement. Like, when's the last time you spoke to the CEO of Netflix? For me, it's never. Absolutely never have I spoken to the CEO of Netflix, nor would I expect to. And so that is kind of the graph. As you increase in price, your connection to your customer is going to get higher. You're going to do more for them. You're going to be potentially running ads for them. You're going to be building out automations for them. You're going to be building web pages for them. You're going to be writing copy for them. So as you get along the price point of, 4, 5, 6K a month, you're basically going to be a fractional marketing officer for them. And so then the question is, well, do I have that expertise? Do I want to do that? So most folks are, so it's a different business. It's a different business. It's SaaS versus agency. And so agency is more done for you services using HighLevel. SaaS is more along the lines of selling at a lower price point, getting more customers and allowing them to build their own things, right? They use the tool, they use the SaaS. And that is one of the biggest things that HighLevel offers, because there's not really any other softwares out there that allow you to build a disconnected stream of revenue like SaaS. What other, let's see, we've got another question. There was a tab with all the joint chats. How do I give that to my clients? I'm not sure that I'm totally I'm not sure I'm totally understanding your question. If you want to elaborate. Also, I think you're only messaging me. So if you want to message everyone, if you want to change that drop down to message everyone so other people can see your question, that would be super, super helpful. So some people have employees. What do the employees mostly do in SaaS? Yeah. So usually when folks start bringing on employees, they are, it's because they're wanting to do different things within the business. And I would say that's We see most folks starting to bring on employees. Well, I guess it really depends. I know we have an agency right now. They're doing about $350K a year. No employees. No employees. So it really depends. And then we have folks that are doing $1 million, $2 million, 10 million a year, and they've got 10 employees because they have so many accounts that they need a team to help with customer support, to help with marketing, to help with all of that. Connor, I'm not sure if you want to address, I think we're getting a little bit more into the sales side of things. We got a couple of questions there, and I just don't want to step on any toes because there's so many awesome ways. I know you teach really great ways to get value out of selling high level. And so I just don't want to step on any toes there for the last two questions. So can you elaborate on what we're providing and what the customers are paying for? So I don't know if you want to touch on that at all in terms of what you really see being successful.
Yeah, no. I think you also touched on it before a little bit, and I think you explained it really well. So the way I like to kind of explain it in a similar way is that there's kind of 3 different branches that you can look at high level from. So the first branch would be the SaaS branch, and that's truly just SaaS. And in that case, you're essentially just selling the software to these business owners to use it. And from that branch, you're really only providing support to them. So you would be more so kind of like a tech support. You're selling them the software. They get to use the software to build websites, do reputation management, build automations and all this stuff. You might have, a little video course, which I provide to you guys, a little video course that shows them how to get set up and everything. Obviously, you're going to want to onboard them yourself, but that little video course would help you. And that's the least involved. Like Graham was saying, there's different levels of involvement for how much money you're charging. So that one's the lowest sort of monthly type membership that you would be charging. So, and like I said, that's the least involved. Then the second branch, which I personally really like this second branch, a little bit more involved. It requires a little bit more work, but you can definitely charge a little bit more because you're going to be providing them more value. So this one, there's a lot of different names for it. I like to call it software with a service. So in this case, you're selling them an account, and this business owner is going to be using this account. But what I like to provide with this option is more of an account management type of role as opposed to tech support, like I was talking about in the last branch. So I would maybe charge them a little bit more and help them set up automations, or I would set the automations up for them. I would make any edits to their website. Maybe I would do them a favor, send out some email campaigns and stuff like that, or I would just show them, I'm a lot more involved in this type of option. So that's software with a service, and you can maybe charge, really you can charge whatever you want for it. I would say, maybe around $1,000 a month for that type of work, depending on what you're providing them, is a good idea. And then the third option would be the most involved. And I think, I forgot who asked this before, was talking about like maybe like a $4,000 price point. And, obviously these high ticket prices can range completely. It really all depends on what you're providing. But this would be more so like a social media marketing agency-esque business where you are using the software to manage this client. You're going to be providing them probably additional services on top of the software. So maybe you're going to be running ads for them. Maybe you're going to be running their organic social media as well, which I think is something that's a really good service to provide on top if you're looking to go high ticket. I personally don't take on too many of the high ticket clients myself because I think the amount of money you have to charge for that is quite a bit, because it really is a lot of work to, for example, run someone's organic social media account. And then on top of that, you have to be able to provide results to them. So I like to do the software with a service route kind of in the middle, because all you really have to know at that point is how to use the software. So as you start to become better and better at using the software and learning all the different features, yourself are going to become more of an asset and be able to provide more value to these business owners. And you're going to be able to get a lot more clients than if you were to charge someone $5,000 a month running their social media. You can't possibly run 10 people's organic social medias by yourself. That's just not, you can't do that. So I really like to go with that middle option. And yes, some of the things that you can provide that I think are really, really valuable are reputation management. You could provide them with all different types of automations connected to their website, like a contact form, automatic appointment bookings. You can now build them an online store with the new e-commerce feature. Missed call text back is super important.
Yep.
You know, there's a whole lot of different things you can provide them, but I personally like to go with the software with a service, which is that middle branch I was talking about, that second branch. But you know, you can go with, you know, any of the options.
Just to piggyback on that real quick, I find for folks, especially if this is your first time in the digital marketing world, so you're learning a lot right now, the software with a service is also the easiest thing to sell. So if you, because it is selling a solution to a problem that a business knows that they have. So that is where software with a service can be easier to get your first 10, 20, 100 clients. And then you really, really, really know things well, and you can move to more of a SaaS model, or you can upsell. There's so many options after that. But software with a service is providing a solution to a problem, as opposed to, you know, with HighLevel, there's a million things that HighLevel offers, right? There's so much packed into the software that it can be harder sometimes to sell the feature stack, as opposed to, hey, do you have an issue getting back to your clients? What if I could solve that, right? So all of a sudden you're selling software with a service, and it becomes easier because you can speak to the exact problem that the business owner is having. And so I do think we're getting into a lot of sales questions, which is awesome. Connor runs more of a sales lead gen kind of front end call. Is that on Tuesdays normally, Connor?
Yeah, it's usually on Wednesday, and I will
sorry.
be yeah, no worries. I will be running another one this Wednesday. Probably going to be around 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'll keep you guys posted on the time. I might try and run an earlier time because it seems to be, you know, a lot better for people that might be in Europe. And, you know, basically other places besides the US. So I'll keep you guys posted. We do run more of a sales one Wednesday around 7 p.m. Eastern, but check out my Discord announcements. I'll keep you guys posted on that. We're going to try and keep this one more so to the automations.
Yeah. So for folks that have really awesome questions surrounding sales, lead gen, bring those to Wednesday's call. So we've got about, let's see, we've got about 15 minutes left in our time today. And so I'm just going to really quick highlight some of the things, get out of this workflow without saving. So some of the things that that Connor just talked about, reputation management. So what reputation management is, so this is, we see a lot of folks have great success providing reputation management services. There's multi-billion-dollar companies built off of reputation management. So there's a lot of room in the marketplace for it. Reputation management is helping companies appear like more attractive and easier to find online. So that is really helping drive reviews to places that people care about. So that might depend what country you're in. It might not always be Google. It might be Yelp. It might be Trustpilot. It might be a software or a review service I've never heard of. So for me, it's Google, right? And so right here, you can have ways to send feedback requests. You can incentivize feedback requests. You can incentivize review requests in order to drive a business's Google reviews up. Like, how do I decide where I'm going to go get my haircut? I look in a 2-3 mile radius. I choose the one with the highest reviews, and that's who gets my money. Same thing when I'm like, my wife and I are deciding where are we going, where do we want to go for dinner, or what, services are so review driven that this is a really valuable thing that you can offer to businesses. So you can either build, you can use, so HighLevel has multiple ways to capture reviews, but you can build workflows. You can use recipe workflows to gather reviews. So you can basically, after, like one of the most common ways of doing this is after a client has had a successful experience at the business owner can tag them or can put them into the automation to say, hey, go send review requests, and it will follow up with them and send them to Google saying, hey, please leave us a review. It's really helpful. Things like that. So that's reputation management. That is definitely one of the best ways to provide software with a service. And so this is a good question. I don't want to get too deep into this because, again, that's probably a better question for like sales objections and stuff like that. I can ask for reviews myself. The answer that wins every time is like, well, then why aren't you? And it's because they don't have the time, they don't have the skills to automate it. And so they do it very rarely. That's why they don't have enough reviews. Like, you don't want to go find the business that has the top reviews. You want to go find the 4 businesses underneath that, because they're losing right now to their top competitor. So we've had that exact objection of like, well, I could just do this myself. And you could, so the answer is, well, why haven't you? And usually that reveals the true issue, which is they don't have any system for doing it. And so that's where you're able to come in with the system. And most folks that we've done this for, by just upping their reviews 10%, 20%, 30%, they make significantly more in new business than what they're paying. So whether they're paying 250, 300, 500, whatever it is, you just do the math with them. So it's like, well, do you think 30 new reviews would get you 2 new clients this month? And is 2 new clients worth $1,000? Oh, well, that's a no-brainer, right? So I'm not going to get into sales objections and things like that. It's definitely not my number one skill set, but I have seen that objection before, and that is a good way to combat that objection. So that's one way to do reputation management there, is through workflows, which makes it really, really powerful to automate it. So it's like, oh, it just fires. And so you could even say, like, it's not even up to the business owner. It's like after the appointment, it just asks them for a review. So you could automate it in a way where the business owner is not involved at all. So they don't even have to take any action in order to get the review. And then one thing we like to do as well is we like to request a review from all previous customers. So we had a question: if you start getting money, do you recommend getting a copywriter or learn it for yourself? I think that is up to each individual. I personally love to learn new skills, and I like to be just dangerous at all of them. And so that's my personal preference. But if you're like, man, this is something that I hate to do, then I think if you hate doing something, you should outsource it. Because if you hate doing something, then I would recommend that you don't spend much of your time on that, because that's going to lead to an unhappy work day, and unhappy work day is just going to lead to a downward spiral. So I would say learn what you have to, but if you have the ability to outsource something that you hate, that would be my recommendation. What other questions do we have? We got a couple more minutes left on automations, fulfillment, providing value for customers after they have purchased. Remember, all sales questions, things along those lines. And maybe Ibrahim, maybe I could answer your question if I understand a little bit more about it, because it might be actually a fulfillment question. Your question was, how do I sell that sub account? Like, is there an app where I can sell that? So how HighLevel works is like all sub accounts, right, listed here. You can have a sub account for your own business. So let's say you call your agency Ibrahim's agency, and you have Ibrahim's agency sub account. You can build websites in there to then sell products. You can sell sub accounts where the sub account is automatically created and the new client gets their login credentials and all of that. So you just have your own sub account once you have a HighLevel subscription, and you build out your business inside of HighLevel. All right, Nate, unfortunately, I don't have a good answer to your question. Where's a good place to find appointment closers to outsource? I will, if I find anything, I will let you know, but I don't have a good answer to that. We had, what are the best ads to do Facebook, Google? We're not going to get into that today. That's more of a lead gen question, but you can bring that to the next call. Really appreciate everybody who is jumping in to ask questions. If you're feeling like, man, I have a question, but I think it's dumb, there are no dumb questions. So if you've been like hesitant to ask a question because you're like, oh man, other people know more than me or something like that, no, this community is here to encourage you in your journey, because this is such an important and awesome journey to take. So if you have a question that you're just like, I want to ask this, but I don't want to ask it, now's your chance. We got a couple more minutes left. So if you've been meaning to ask a question, regardless of whether you think it's smart or stupid, good question or bad question, please, please, please type it in the chat, ask it. There'll be no judgment passed, I promise. I will throw that link in there for you guys as well. And then I know Connor will have some links to add to it. So that is if we're looking at here, so reputation management, lead management, and miscellaneous, those are the workflows that come there. So if you need a prepackaged snapshot for delivering to your clients, that is a great way to go. It's got all the very important high-level automations, even the ones that they don't have in their own recipes. So that is an option there as well. Oh, here's a question. So, Ibrahim, if I build a sub-account for a business, I give them the login information, right? You can, but not necessarily. So, HighLevel has multiple options, and on their $497 plan, they call it their SaaS plan or their Pro plan, you can automate all of that. So, all they have to do is somebody has to purchase a SaaS product, or a SaaS configurator product is what HighLevel calls it, and it automatically creates the sub-account, automatically sends them login information, automatically loads in a snapshot if you have one. And so it can automate all of that. But if you're like, hey, I don't want to be, that's not, not for me yet, then yes, you can absolutely create an account, create the person as a user and send them their login information. So that is the other way to do it. I do believe every time you create a user, it automatically sends them login information though. So that piece might be automated no matter what. What's a good trigger for reputation when that's a great question, Matt. So what's a good trigger for reputation when an owner doesn't use GHL for payments? So you got a couple of different options there. Depending on what they do use for payments, you might be able to use something like Zapier to communicate back to HighLevel to say, hey, a payment was made, and then send them a review request. I would want to understand a little bit more about the business and how they do business. Are they just, what type of, are they taking payments for services? Is there anything booked on a calendar? So I would want to understand what other things are happening right around the time of purchase that we might be able to trigger off of. But usually calendar is a good one. Communicating payment from one system to another. So from Stripe to HighLevel, you can totally do that using Zapier. So if they use Stripe or they use a different payment processor, so those are all options. And then, worst case scenario is it's manual and they just go in and you set it up. So when a tag review is added to the customer inside of the contact list, then that would kick it off as well. Awesome. Honestly, I just enjoy this. So that is part of it as well, is I've been lucky to have great mentors during my time. And so when Connor approached me about potentially partnering up to run one of these calls, honestly, I love all things HighLevel. I love all things tech. So that's part of the answer to that question is I honestly, if you can't tell from how animated I am and happy to be here, I truly, truly enjoy this. So it's home improvement. So they just do bank transfers. So that is, so I don't know when they close a job. I guess the question is, Matt, do you care when they close a job? Some people do, right? Like we've run performance deals before where every time they close a job, we got paid. And what we would do there is we would assume that if they booked a sales appointment, that unless they marked it as as they didn't close it, it was going to automatically mark as close, and then we were going to automatically arrest. So you do performance. So how we did that was literally we would wait 24 hours. So we told them hey, part of the deal is you have to mark this as sale or no sale within 24 hours, because otherwise, it's going to assume a sale and you're going to owe me 5%. We would actually automate the payment of that 5%. And so they were very incentivized to market sale or no sale. And the reason, so you're like, well, wouldn't they just market no sale, even if it was a sale, and that way they didn't have to pay you? Always a possibility. I tend to believe the best in people. And so at the same time, if they were not selling, we're not going to continue to fulfill for them. And so if they are selling, they're like, well, honestly, this is a good deal. We want to keep working with you. And what we found is people were honest. we had a couple folks that we asked to audit their stuff, and it turns out they were honest because we were doing a good enough job for them. They wanted to continue to work with us. So that is a way that you can do it. It's a high trust situation, but that's how we ran our performance, or that's how we've run performance systems in the past. Oh, we still got time. How long does it take to get 5 clients and automate them? Well, it's a great question because it's going to depend. I've seen people that take a ton of information and don't do anything with it. And so for them, it takes a very, very long time to get 5 clients. I've seen people who gather very little information and just take action. They run ads, they reach out to people, they talk to people in their network. They just take imperfect action. And I've seen people get 5 clients in 24 hours. So it is totally, totally dependent on, honestly, that is the biggest difference. We've supported over, 3,000 agencies. And the biggest difference between what I see with folks who have success and folks who don't have success is their willingness to just get after it and do the work, and just get clients any possible way. So they look at Connor and they're like, Connor, you gave me 4 different ways to go get clients. I'm going to go run all 4 of them. And so really it's the people that take imperfect action that I see have the most success. And I've seen people get 100 clients in their first month because they were hungry. Now they had a lot to fulfill upon after 100 clients, but I think it's a good problem to have. And so, yes, recording will be on Connor's YouTube and on Discord. I've got Muhammad with his hand raised. So Muhammad, feel free to unmute and let us know your question, or you can type it into chat. Either way is totally good.
I would like to ask my question by this.
Yeah, you know what? I love that. So I appreciate you taking a risk and unmuting and joining us.
Yeah.
So
what's up? The thing is, I'm so sorry. I was not in this meeting from before. I just got at the half of the meeting. But the thing is, I just know software as a service, and I joined in the Discord chat group, but I have no idea of where to start. And I'm still watching, and I'm guessing what is this. But I love to understand it. That's why I just continue to hear, and I got the opportunity to ask my question. How can I start this SaaS? And if you have any lead from how can I start it from scratch, and if there's any other links that I can honestly start it. But
yeah, I think it's a great question. I'll let Connor jump in real quick, but I do think, just to re-clarify, so this fulfillment call, I want to stay on topic. That's a great question for Connor's Wednesday call. So Wednesday call is all about sales, acquiring customers, lead gen, all of that side of thing. This is kind of the call of like, hey, I got a client. What do I do now? Or how do I understand HighLevel? Or how do I use it for my own, like running my own agency? And so I don't want to necessarily say, hey, I can't, we're not going to get into your question. So I don't know, Connor, if you have a couple of links from like, hey, this is the best path to get started, or anything along those lines.
Yeah, real quick. I'll just, for you and anyone else that's, new and just getting started, they don't know exactly where to get started. So I have a free course. Also, again, my YouTube channel at Connor Zaru. I have a video on there that will help you get started in 30 minutes. It gives you all the details, everything you need to know how to get set up. These calls, we do a little bit more advanced stuff, getting to know the actual software more in depth, like the automations and client fulfillment and stuff like that. My Wednesday calls are on client acquisition and how to get clients. But if you're completely brand new and you're looking to get started, you can grab my free course in the Discord or on my YouTube.
Awesome. Mohammed, thanks for asking that question. I know we didn't necessarily get to like dive full into that, but I really appreciate you just unmuting and asking that question. So make sure you hop on to Connor's call on at 7 and use those resources. We are right at time. So we will be back next week. Connor, I'm not totally sure of the time next week. If we're back to Tuesdays, I think we might be back to Tuesdays. We had to move today's because of some travel stuff. So we'll send out that reminder. Connor just dropped that link. This recording will be accessible in Discord and YouTube. Thank you guys so much for joining, and look forward to seeing you next week. Have a great rest of your day or evening or whatever time it is, wherever you're at. Thanks, Connor.
Thanks, Graham.
See ya.